Sewin TV presents.
Faith and Hope with Sweet Tea and Sass, encouraging couples to reconnect with God and with each other so they can live their happily ever after too.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Faith and Hope with Sweet Tea and Sass. Tonight, we're going to be talking about our very rocky beginnings.
The rocky road of dating.
Yes, and rocky it was.
Oh, yes.
So,
Lesser people would have been driven apart.
yes, but when you know she's the one, you're going to do what it takes to make it happen. At least that's what I was thinking anyway.
And when your sass comes along with a whole lot of cagey and stubborn, you're just not going to be deterred.
No, we weren't.
I wasn't.
So we had our unlikely meeting with Mom, and that lovely meeting that night. And after that night, I was determined that I was going to see her every day. And pretty much I'd get off work, I'd pick up something from dinner, or I would go home, change clothes real quick, and then beat feet to her house and pick her up, and then we would leave and go to dinner.
And that was a 30-minute drive
Each way.
to my house. Yeah, because we lived out in the boonies on, I kid you not, Goat Hill Road. Yes, I said Goat Hill Road. Never saw any goats. That was the name of the road. And we had to pipe in sunshine. We were so far out in the boonies.
And it was on, believe it or not, it was on top of a hill, which is hard to believe in Louisiana, because Louisiana is flat.
We had hills, but no goats.
Yeah. Never did understand the meaning, the reason for the name of the road, but it
Maybe
was.
when they named it, it had goats.
Who knows? But
cares?
it was out in the middle of the woods, and there was farmland all around. So I don't know, maybe that's where the name Goat Hill Road came from. But anyway, it was 30 minutes from my house to her house, and then it was 30 minutes back into town to go to dinner, go to a movie, go roller skating. It was an hour drive if we were going to the racetrack.
Well, right in the very beginning, we tried eating dinner with my family.
That lasted about a week.
For about a week.
That was
yeah.
That was interesting.
And then I was told that they couldn't afford to feed another person, so he couldn't eat there anymore.
So
that was the beginning of the end.
So I don't know, we figured we were young.
And in love.
I don't know if it was love yet, but it was infatuation for sure.
He was in love. It was love at first sight for him.
It was.
It took me some convincing.
It did. It did.
Yes, it did.
But
I nearly ran off when he put an engagement ring on layaway 2 weeks after we met.
So
I thought he's crazy, but at least he can get his money back.
One of our date nights, we were walking through the local mall there in town, and we walked into a jewelry store there in the mall, and I said, "Pick a ring." And she looked at me and she said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, I'm serious. Pick a ring."
I thought we were just goofing around. I thought we were just being silly. I didn't know he was really picking a ring.
So she started at the high end.
No, I didn't.
No, you started at the high end and you went to the low end, and you settled on it. You settled on a nice little ring there on.
I was like, oh, that little petite one. If I'd have known he was going to buy it, I'd have went for the big one.
See what I tell you? So I was just letting her pick the one she liked, the one she wanted. And I said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, try it on." And she said, "It fits." And she said, "Well, it fits and I like it." And I said, "Okay, put it on layaway." And that's the exact look I got right there.
Say what? I've been dating you for 2 weeks.
Yep.
As the kids would say now, we aren't even Facebook official.
Well, we were then.
I didn't think so. We were just dating.
So 2 weeks.
I sure didn't tell Mama about that.
No, neither did I. I didn't tell my mom about it either. So I don't know, we had some interesting date nights. Our first movie together was The Jungle Book.
Yes, Sweet Tea. He's so sweet. And he wanted to go to a movie, so he picked The Jungle Book. They were re-showing it for its whatever anniversary, and we went to The Jungle Book to the movies for our first movie.
Well, I am a old Disney softie.
You're a throwback.
I like the old Disney movies.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Yep. But then, about a month into us dating, my stepfather's dad passed away, and they had to make a trip over to Vicksburg, over close to Vicksburg in Louisiana, where they were from, to help with the funeral arrangements and all that. And my mother said for me to bring my brother and my sister and go to my grandmother's so that we would be there to go to the services. So he finagled his way to get off work so he could go with us. And I called her and told her that he was coming with us, and I could hear between the gritted teeth, fine. So we all went to my grandmother's house. And there at my grandmother's house on a Saturday morning, my little redheaded cousin, who was a pain in the behind, was laying on the floor, kicking him in the back through a lattice rocking chair, just kicking his feet through the back of the rocking chair. And he asked him to stop, and he didn't stop. So he went around and he grabbed his feet and he just tapped him on his behind. He said, "Boy, I told you to stop." Well, that blew into a whole big mess with my entire family, which of course my mother had already told everybody how horrible he was and how she didn't like him and he was just awful for me and all these things about him. So the family just picked up and ran with it. And my grandmother called her and said, "He spanked Eric." He did not spank that kid, but
he needed it.
Well, yeah, that's beyond the point. But he definitely needed it, but he didn't spank him. He just tapped him on the behind, playing with him, trying to get him to stop kicking the chair. So I got an immediate phone call from my mother and said, "You and him need to go home and just leave the kids at grandma's." So we packed up our stuff and we went back to my house and to our house where we lived. And that set the stage for the rest of the rocky road of dating. That was when 1 month into our dating, she decided that he was a threat to our family. He was a threat to her younger children. He was probably a child abuser. And he was probably going to beat her children when nobody was around. And I, who had raised them from the time they were 2 weeks old, was going to sit back and let him do it. Let him beat them and mistreat them, because I just would let him do anything because I was just completely out of my mind. Granted, I was still going to college, making 4.0s in college, still the same level-headed, intelligent person I had always been, being the mature 18-year-old, taking care of my half-brother and my half-sister, not working a job or participating in after-school activities because I had to be the substitute mom for her to work. But that was beside the point. So our dating life took a turn for the worse.
Yeah, it did. she made it a point to tell Elizabeth that, one, I can't stop you from seeing him, but I can stop him from coming to the house.
She knew about Sass. She also knew about the stubborn Cajun. She had met both quite a few times before. And she knew if she told me, you can't date him, I would have run off and married him because I was 18 and I could do what I wanted to. So she wasn't going to tell me what to do. Not that she told me what to do before I was 18. I was pretty easygoing and compliant. And I still am pretty easygoing and compliant if you ask me to do something. But if you tell me to do something, how does that go?
It don't go well.
It don't go well. I'll do just about anything for you. I love people and I love doing things for people, but
don't tell her what to do.
I don't like to be bossed around. I have my GPS on mute because I don't like it to tell me what to do. When it tells me to turn, I don't like to be told when to turn. I'll turn when I want to turn. Now, you can put it on the screen, and if it says turn, I'll turn, but I don't want it bossing me around. We have a new Bluetooth speaker in here, and I don't like that it tells me when it turns on or when the music stops. It bothers me. This is the thing that I know I can hear. So I don't like being told what to do. So she knew this. So she didn't tell me you can't see him. You just can't bring him to the house. He can't come to any family functions. He can't be around our kids or your nieces and nephews, or not nieces and nephews, your cousins.
Yeah. Cousins.
Yeah, I didn't have nieces and nephews at the time. Your cousins or any of that, because he's dangerous. Look at him. Look.
I'm dangerous.
He's dangerous. He's so dangerous. You have to be very aware of him. And you have to understand that my mother has issues.
She didn't like men.
She never has liked men. And well, I think since my biological father left her when she was pregnant with me, I think she decided right then that she didn't like men, and she hasn't liked men since. And I'm sure that,
which I find odd that she's married.
Well, she doesn't like him either.
No, that's true.
I mean, if you see them together and interacting, they don't like each other. They just stay married to have somebody to fight with. And that's so sad, but it's true. And I just, it's just the way that it is. And it makes me very sad. But I hate that it's that way. And that's the way that it ended up. She knew not to pause that. So it's sad, I find it sad now. It made me angry before, but it's sad now that one person can hurt you so deeply that you spend the rest of your life hating the whole species. And I think we're finding that out in our culture now. It's very cultural. So many people are against white males. They think that white men are all racist and white men are all too masculine, and they want to kill stuff and beat people up and all these things. And it's not true. It's the furthest thing from the truth. But for some reason, they've decided that if you have white skin and you're male, you're all the same. And none of us are the same. We're all different. And some of you ladies out there, you may experience this. You may have had a bad relationship. You may have had a bad marriage. You may have been in an abusive marriage. I know that, a lot of people have been in an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage, an abusive childhood. I had an abusive childhood. I was abused by two of my stepbrothers. I was physically abused by my stepfather. And I had a really bad attitude about men. But I tried not to let it be all men, because every man deserves a chance on his own, independently of what they did. What they did was their choice themselves. And I need to give each person their own opportunity to mess up or to do it right. And I'm glad that I did, because I have a lot of amazing male friends. I have the most amazing husband in Sweet Tea. And I have an amazing son and lots of friends at church that are men. And so I just want to, my tip for today, I guess I'm going to start giving Sass's tips for the day. My tip for today is, if you've been hurt, if you've been done wrong, if you've been mistreated, and I understand that because I have too, give another person a chance. You might want to give them a chance at a distance. Just talk to them on the phone or text with them or exchange messages on Facebook Messenger. Keep them at a distance until you feel comfortable, but give them a chance. Don't judge one or the whole lot by what one person did or does. Give each person a chance as an individual, because we all deserve an opportunity to be judged as individuals. We need to look at the person from who they are on the inside, and we need to understand that people change. Some people change and they get better with time. So back to the story.
Yes, back to the story. So my side of the family, my mom and dad were happy that I was seeing you and that we were dating.
Your sisters, your two youngest sisters, were really happy.
Yeah, they were really.
Because they hated your last girlfriend.
Yeah, they did. My oldest one, on the other hand, I don't know where her brain was at. Still don't know. But that's another story for another time and day.
I don't know if she liked me or if she ever has. I don't know.
I don't either. Don't really care. Because I do. And
at the end of the day, it's about what he thinks about me and what I think about him and what God thinks about us.
Which is true. And God is the one that brought us together.
Yes, absolutely. No doubt about it.
Our dating lasted 4 months. Not quite 4 months.
Well, you need the next 3 months.
Yeah.
After my mother said you couldn't come to the house anymore.
Were interesting. There were many times that I would pick her up and we'd go park at the end of the road just so that we could be together.
He couldn't come to the house.
Nope.
He could not pull in the driveway even.
I had to pick her up on the edge of the road.
So rain or shine, in my little umbrella, he'd call when he got off work. I'm on my way. And I would wait. I knew about how long it took him to get there. I'd stand at the door. I'd hear his truck because of the loud pipes on that Chevy truck. He's a Southern guy.
Gotta have pipes.
I would get my little umbrella and walk, in the rain out to the end of the driveway, which we lived on a half acre of land. So the driveway was a pretty good little stretch to meet him, to get in the truck so we could go park in a Walmart parking lot and talk for a couple hours before he had to drop me off and go home so that he could be at work the next morning.
But here's the funny part of this.
For 3 months we did that.
Minus one night.
We
it was getting expensive going out there every night because back then gas was 75 cents a gallon.
Oh, it was so expensive.
And
but minimum wage was $1.
I think it was $1.75. So.
But you're only working 3 hours after school because he was in auto mechanic school and I was in college. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we decided one of our nights that we were parked talking, and I said, this is really getting expensive, and I don't think we can see each other every night. So we decided that we would see each other on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So that left Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday that we would not see each other.
We were still going to see each other on Saturday. Just Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
You weren't going to come out anymore.
Right. I wasn't going to come out and get you on Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Right. And there was no way she was going to let me have the car to go see him.
No. That wasn't happening.
No.
So dropped her off Monday night. Tuesday I got off work.
Oh, but hang on a minute. Tuesday I went to school that morning, did my college classes that morning. When I got off, I went to the store and bought him these little plaques and a card, called his mom and asked her if I could stop by the house and left the little plaques and the card on his bed because I wasn't going to see him that night. But we had seen each other the night before, but we weren't going to see each other that night, so I had to leave him a little present.
And I got home and saw the card and the plaque on
But
it.
I wasn't the one that was in love. Wasn't me.
Not her, not at all.
Nope.
At least she wouldn't admit it.
No.
So, had dinner with mom and dad, picked up the phone. 4 hours later, I got off the phone. That was back before the phone bill was charged by the minute, back when you still had landlines.
No
if you know what those are.
Back then.
No, there were no cell phones.
It was the one that was attached to the wall, and you had to sit in the family room and talk, and everybody could hear you.
Or you could walk out in the garage and sit in the garage.
We didn't have a garage.
Well, I did.
Trailers don't have garages.
But I had a cord that could go all the way to the bedroom or all the way out in the garage or all the way out in the backyard. It was one of those ones that had the 50-foot cords plugged into the wall.
Yeah, and then when you hung it up, it all twisted up.
Yeah.
Oh, we are so showing our age.
Yes, we are. So I called her that night. We were on the phone 4 hours. Just talking about this, that, and the other. And talking about our future, what we thought the future would be like, you know. We talked about anything and everything under the sun.
We did. From the very beginning, we talked about everything.
We talked about raising kids. We talked about what we thought marriage would be like, what our dreams were, that was a key one, what our marriage would be like.
What did we want to be? What were our dreams for our careers, for our family? There wasn't really anything. Discipline. What do we think about disciplining children?
Discipline.
Yeah. I mean, what do we feel about church? I mean, we talked about everything.
Yes.
There wasn't a subject we did not broach in 4 months.
So Wednesday night, I went out to the house and I told her Wednesday night, this ain't happening. I got to see you every night. I got to see you every day. I can't handle this being apart.
One whole night and I can't do it anymore.
So we dated 4 months. 2 days shy of 4 months, and we only missed each other one night out of that 4 months.
Yep. And then your dad dropped the bombshell just before that.
Yep.
He was retiring from the military.
Dad told me he was retiring from the military and that he had retired in May, but the bombshell he dropped was they were moving to Dallas for his next job.
He had found a job in Dallas, Fort Worth.
So we had a discussion. Do I move to Dallas with mom and dad and we see each other on the weekends, or what do we do from here? And
we were in crisis. We were in crisis. It was awful. He couldn't live how long is the drive?
It's 3.5 hours from Dallas to Shreveport.
3.5 hours. We couldn't go one night without seeing each other in practically the same town, 30 minutes away from each other.
Right.
We're going to go a whole week without seeing each other 3.5 hours away. It was a full-blown crisis. Yes.
A crisis that no newly engaged couple should have to go through.
Oh, yeah. And the engagement ring was still on layaway.
Still on layaway.
Oh, it was terrible. So what do we do now? What do we do now? So that was our dilemma. What do we do next? And we had no idea. So we started discussing
as a new couple. We were discussing. Well, we had been talking about marriage anyway while we were dating.
Yeah, but
we were
in the future.
Yeah, it was in the future.
Way in the future.
We were talking
when I finished school.
When you finished school, which was 2 years down the road?
4 years down the road.
Yeah, because you were going to get your bachelor's degree in
elementary education.
That was
not my dream. That was my mother's dream, not my dream. So then we're at the dilemma of, what do we do now? His parents are moving. He can't come to my house. I
can't afford to get an apartment.
He can't keep going to school and get an apartment. Even if he quits school and goes to work full time, he's not going to be able to get an apartment and live on his own. So,
I could do it, but I wouldn't be able to afford
to come see me every night.
to come see you every night.
And that wasn't doable either.
That wasn't doable either.
So what do we do now? 4 months into dating, and here we are with this choice of what do we do now? And we had no idea. And so we started praying about it.
And praying hard about it.
Praying about, God, what are we supposed to do? We're here in this dilemma and we don't know what to do.
Where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? And, you know, sometimes God gives you an answer right away. And sometimes God waits a while to give you an answer. You're going to have to tune in next week to find out what kind of answer God gave us and what that answer was. So until next week, this is Sass.
And this is Sweet Tea.
And we'll talk to you then. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Do you wonder, how did it get to be like this? How did we get so disconnected? Where did the joy, laughter, and cuddles go? Does any of this sound familiar? Well, change is possible. Your marriage can thrive. Let us partner with you to restore the foundations of your family, where every family member feels loved, accepted, and valued. It's time for a new way. Time to see your marriage transformed into a relationship of peace, respect, and a joint purpose. Doesn't that sound amazing? Go to www.theclammingroup.com now for more information and to sign up for your free 30-minute marriage design consultation.
Are you feeling broken or lost? Are you struggling to find a community of like-minded women? Come join us on Soulwin, Shining Our Light Women's Inspiration Network. Soulwin women have come out victoriously from their dark places and now use their God-given gifts to shine their light to the whole world. Get your free 30-day trial today. Go to www.soulwin.tv to subscribe now.